Hey everyone, welcome back to the garden or the video. Today we are going to do kind of like a hybrid video talking about my seed haul, what seeds I'm growing for the first time this year, and winter sowing as well. The first thing I really want to start off is with our Lisianthus that I wanted to talk about. And now I can't winter sow these. I've had very bad results with winter sowing Lisianthus. They just stay too small for too long of a time to be successful with them and transplanting them into the garden. I have this year some trays in the hoop house still of Lisianthus that are still very, very small. So I am going to actually be starting some more Lisianthus seeds. I am going to be growing this Rosanne Green Lisianthus that I bought from Johnny's. And I'm going to be starting those in a tray inside here in January. I know I don't hardly ever start, seeds indoors, but I think with this Lisianthus seedlings, I think it's just going to be one of those things that I'm going to either have to buy as plug trays, as small plants, or that I'm going to simply have to start indoors under grow lights or in a sunny windowsill. We will see how that progresses. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to make any videos about it just because, I don't know what my setup is going to look like. Hopefully, I also got some seeds for some Rosita Red Lisianthus as well. I don't have a picture of that one, unfortunately. But I am really, really excited to once again give these a try and really see if I can master the entire process of growing Lisianthus from seeds, because while starting them isn't really that difficult at all, just growing them on and having the patience to to keep growing them into a size that is transplantable in the garden is just it's frustrating, and I imagine it's very difficult for beginners, and even myself, which I don't really consider myself a beginner anymore. I've just struggled with it. Anyway, that's enough ranting about Lisianthus. Let's look at snapdragons. Snapdragons are one of my absolute favorite flowers, and I had bad luck with the fall planting last year, so I'm going to be planting some again in the spring this year. And I have a lot of different varieties. The first one that I have is Chantilly Light Pink. I also ordered a mixed pack of Chantilly Snapdragon seeds, but those are on back order. But I have received the Chantilly light pink version. If you have been following the channel for any amount of time, you know that we already have a video showing these light pink ones. They are so just bubblegum pink and bright and gorgeous. And hopefully we'll grow these out really well into some nice transplants. These are getting winter sown at the end of January here in my Zone 6 garden, since they are tolerant to the cold. All of the snapdragons are winter sowed in January and then transplanted into the garden as soon as the soil can be worked. That's usually about the first week of April here in my growing zone. This will ensure that they have plenty of time to kind of become established and kind of get rooted really well before they start thinking about stretching and blooming and that kind of thing by the time midsummer arrives. Also, we have another snapdragon flower that is returning to the garden in the form of our Madam Butterfly mixed snapdragons. You might recall, I think it was last year that we grew the Madam Butterfly snapdragons. This one is once again coming to the garden. I really, really liked the shades of kind of pink and dark reds in this mix, so I was eager to get my hands on it once again. This one was on back order as well, but fortunately it has arrived. It seems like a lot of things are just delayed and on back order, and that's to be expected because, hey, everybody and their mama is deciding to grow flowers and garden and stuff this year, which is cool. I mean, more power to you. If you're one of those people, welcome to the channel. Love to have you. Hit subscribe. Would love for you to hit subscribe. Go ahead and leave a comment right now too. It helps us so much. Please leave a comment. Like, I'm literally begging you. Please, 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 please leave a comment. You can say anything. I prefer it be about the video, but you can tell me about the weather. I don't care what you tell me. I really, really need the comments. Okay, enough begging. Back to the video. You can see in this video, these are the light apricot Chantilly snapdragons that I'm showing you. These were my favorite last year. Hopefully we'll get some of those again in the mix, but I'm not sure. Also new to me this year in terms of snapdragons, we have the Potomac Lavender snapdragon. I usually like to buy mixed seed packets, but for whatever reason, this lavender was just calling out to me. It is such a pretty color in the photo, and hopefully when they start blooming here in our yard, we'll get some of those really, really pretty soft kind of pink lavender, kind of bluish tones that are so hard to find and so hard to, you know, just get a true purple or lavender color in a lot of flowers. So I'm really excited to see what these look like as well. I've never grown any of the flowers from the Potomac series of snapdragons either, so it'll be interesting to see what the timing is like and how they perform overall. So really looking forward to that one. Are you growing any snapdragons in your garden this year? Be sure to tell me about it in the comments. Did you start them in the fall? Did you start them in the spring? What are you going to do? I know I'm really eager to start these in January. Here in just a few days, I'm going to get started with the winter sowing in the low tunnel. If you're unfamiliar with the winter sowing method and the low tunnel that I use, I'll put a video in the cards to the complete winter sowing, you know, video that should be helpful. Another one that I am winter sowing here in January is Scabiosa. These are cold tolerant, pretty cold tolerant, and I'm going to be starting some more of them. Even though I did a fall planting as well, I still have some seeds. So I am going to be winter sowing these in January as well and transplanting them out as soon as the first frost has, or as soon as the soil can be worked, I'm sorry. I should also mention that any of the hardy annual flowers can be winter sowed in January, end of January to February. You know, just depends on where you live, but most of these will do very, very well. And if you're unfamiliar with other hardy annual flowers, I already have a video called Early Flowers that will be very, very helpful to you. I'll put a card to that as well. Another flower that I am winter sowing, this one's more so at the beginning of February into mid-February. This is Lava Terra. I found it to have a little bit of cold tolerance, but definitely not something that can handle hard freezes or anything like that. This year I'm growing the variety Silver Cup and Pink Regis. Very, very pretty. And even though they look super delicate and dainty, they last in cut flower arrangements. They do so well. And as you can see, it looks like I think they're a member of the mallow family. Don't quote me on that. Very similar in appearance to hibiscus, but a little bit smaller. I just really like these for mid-season flowers. It seems that as soon as the weather heats up, these are usually done here in my yard, but hopefully we will be able to harvest armloads of these for cut flowers in the springtime. They always do really, really well with winter sowing, so I'm eager to get those started. Another flower in the garden, now we are moving towards the end of February with our winter sowing here in this video, just showing you what I'm growing. I don't have as many annuals in the flower garden this year because I am growing so many bulbs and dahlias. This is the Timeless Mix Azuratum. Now, what I really, really like about this Timeless Mix Azuratum is the colors, the diversity of colors. You have these very light pinks and these pastels, and of course you have the traditional purple ones or purple blue ones that you see often, and we have the very, very light ones and the very, very dark kind of burgundy ones. And the reason I like this mix so much is you really get the best of all the colors. For example, you get the dark red of a variety like Red Flint, and you get that light blue color of, like, you know, Dondo Blue, all the different varieties in one pack, which I think is totally awesome. I know floss flower, this is also called floss flower, isn't for everybody, but here's why I really like it. The clusters of the flowers are very unique. You can see they're kind of like hair-like, which is cool. They add a really nice bit of unique texture to flower arrangements, which I totally dig. The palette of colors is beautiful. But these plants, if you are kind of planting an ornamental bed, these plants will look nice the majority of the season. They look nice all season long, which I really, really love. In the early summer, they're nice and green and bushy. They bloom for a very, very long period of time. They are somewhat cut and come again. I can get them to rebloom a little bit. But more importantly, once the flowers are done, I can use that foliage into the fall for filler, for just greenery and flower arrangements, and it will stay nice and green. It'll do really, really well. I cannot say enough good things about Azuratum. It's just a very, very helpful flower in the cut flower garden. I like to plant this next to my basil just because they're around the same height, and I can use both of them for filler and foliage, which is really, really convenient. Of course, I am growing basil this year as well. It's just I'm not growing, you know, another type. Next, we want to talk about zinnias. This is going to be winter sown about a month before my last frost date, maybe 2 weeks to 4 weeks before my last frost date. I am, of course, growing the unicorn mix zinnia from Floret, which you see right here. I just couldn't resist it. I went ahead and I ordered another packet of seed. I know I have zero self-control when it comes to ordering seeds. I can't help it. And I also, from Floret, wanted to grab yet another pack of seed called the Zinnia Little Flower Girl Mix, which I am very, very excited about. As you can see, it looks like this mix is the isolated version of that peach, that real pretty peach lavender zinnia that we saw in the unicorn mix last year when we grew it. This looks like a more isolated version of that. I'm always wary of the pictures on Floret's website because every picture on her website is great, even the scabious zinnias, which we know aren't reliable. So I'm very interested to see what these are going to look like in real life. Judging by my experience with the unicorn mix, I am super duper excited for this. But like I said, who knows? I'll be sure to show you guys that. And of course, we're going to save seeds this year for these varieties, because lesson learned from last year, you know, things just got busy and I ended up not saving my seeds. Winter sowing zinnias using that method with zinnias is super easy, super effective. If you've never done it, it does take a little bit of trial and error because you will have to kind of protect those seedlings on nights that are a little bit on the cold side and really monitor for, you know, the temperatures in your bottles or in your low tunnel. But once you get the hang of it, it is a super duper easy way to start a lot of transplants with just, you know, very, very little resources. Last year we had this huge zinnia patch, and hopefully we'll have some space for it, but I don't know where I'm going to put all this stuff. I definitely over-ordered. We are also going to be growing the Ben Aries Giant Bright Pink, which you see here again. I really cut down on the Ben Aries Giants this year just because, like I said, I don't have the room. I don't know where I'm going to put these dahlias. I don't know what I'm going to do. I did go on a limb here and buy some Uproar Rose zinnia seeds. Now, these are a hybrid zinnia, and the seeds are really expensive. And for years and years, I've wanted to give them a try, and I'm finally going to do it. Basically, it's kind of like a pinkish purple zinnia, and it's supposed to be really, really uniform and really, really great for use in the cut flower garden. I am so eager to see whether or not it lives up to all the hype, and especially if it lives up to the price tag, because come on, man. I ain't got that kind of money to be spending on zinnia seeds, especially when something like Ben Aries Giant or even some of the open pollinated ones do so well or so good. You know, it should be interesting to see what this is going to perform like in our little kind of zinnia trial garden. The other Ben Aries Giants that I mentioned this year that I'm regrowing again, I'm also going to be growing the Ben Aries Salmon Rose, just because Salmon Rose is one of my absolute favorites. I mean, that coral peachy color, I don't know what it is about it. I just can't get enough of it. That color is so dreamy and it looks so beautiful in the garden as well, especially, you know, next to those bright pink ones. Oh, love it. One of my favorites. Other interesting varieties that I am growing of zinnias this year. I looked at a lot of places and couldn't really find any Isabellina seeds for the creamy yellow zinnias. I grew them last year, but they didn't really perform well. But I did find this giant dahlia flowered creamy yellow one from Johnny's. So that's the one that I ordered. It's very much like Isabellina. It's the pretty, very, very pale yellow, kind of pastel yellow color that seems to go with literally everything that I think is just really, really nice. I'm excited to try to kind of hybridize my own zinnias this year too. I'm going to do a lot of kind of crosses and seed saving and start trying to come up with our own Freshcut KY mix of zinnias. I think that would be so cool. Especially, you know, it's kind of inspiring when you see all these beautiful colors that can come out of zinnias and you're just like, why don't, you know, I should give that a try. Why not? And that's kind of what led me down the road to saving my own dahlia seeds anyway, is kind of this interest in creating something new, which I think is really neat. And hopefully I'll be able to share it with you guys eventually, just see how many seeds that we are able to produce in our small little backyard this year. So that's a very cool project that we are looking forward to. Also growing a lot of zinnias in the Queen series. Of course, we're going to be growing Queen Lime Orange again. You see it here. It's one of my favorites. I had such good luck with Queen Lime Orange last year. I just had buckets of beautiful flowers of that flower last year, so I'm definitely growing that one again. We're also going to have the Queen Lime Red and the Queen Lime, I believe. You know, just a little bit more hit or miss with those varieties, but I'm going to find a place to squeeze them in so that hopefully we can pick them and donate them and just have lots and lots of flowers. In addition to the zinnias, I am also trying to find the space to put my sunflowers, okay? Now, sunflowers, they take up a lot of space. They only give you one flower in most cases. I don't think any of these varieties are branching, but I can't help it. I feel like the garden is just incomplete without sunflowers. Like zinnias, if you're using the winter sowing method, these sunflowers should be winter sowed no sooner than 2 weeks before your last frost date, because they will germinate fast and they will grow very, very fast. Here in my garden, I have to germinate them in trays and transplant because the birds will eat every single seed. I'm growing the Double Delight mix, which is what you see on the screen again this year. We grew it last year. It was beautiful. Very, very high percentage of double flowers. This one came from Geoseed. Awesome. I loved this variety of sunflower. We're also going to try something new called Sunflower Sparky from Floret, and I couldn't resist it because, I mean, look at those petals. They look like little narrow, toothy looking weird little weirdos. I love it. I love when flowers are kind of weird and like you're not sure if it's supposed to look good or you're not sure. I've just been really, really on a kick where I like to try new things lately. So I am very much looking forward to that. Are you growing any new sunflowers this year? If you are, be sure to tell me in the comments because I love sunflowers, especially sunflowers for cut flower arrangements, pollen-free sunflowers and things like that. So I would love to hear exactly what cultivars you're growing. It'd be awesome. Also, I have a lot of flowers from the Pro Cut series just because I love the Pro Cut series. This includes things like the Pro Cut Brilliance, which we had last year, which you're seeing on the screen now. Last year, I planted them very, very close. That's one of the main reasons that my sunflowers were so small last year. I'm going to give them a little bit more space this year so that I can get bigger flowers, hopefully make more of a visual impact. But, you know, it is what it is. We just got to make do with what we have. Also got some of the lighter colors, the lemon, Pro Cut lemon, in with the Pro Cut stuff. Just, you know, kind of boring, kind of normal, run-of-the-mill, like, yeah, that's a sunflower. I've seen those before. But we also got some more cool ones, or what I would consider cool ones, I guess. Like, we got the Starburst Lemon Aura, which, as you can see, is just a very light kind of pastel lemon color. But it has that cool center, that cool kind of ruffled up center. I don't know what that's actually called. Does anybody know what that is actually called other than like messed up, weird, ruffled up center? I should probably learn like flower words, I guess, since I'm going to try to be a flower farmer. Anyway, we really excited for this one. I did grow this one last year, but the birds got the most of them and I only got 1 or 2 blooms, which was like totally disappointing. So hopefully we'll have better success with it this year. If we can find a place to plant it, I might consider trying to get a community garden plot, but I think my community garden next to me went out of business. I mean, think about how bad does that have to be? How bad does your neighborhood have to be for a community garden to be like, nah, we ain't doing this no more, never mind. But that's what happened. In addition to the sunflowers, we're also going to be growing a lot of celosia this year. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the celosia packets or anything with me, and I couldn't find the pictures online because I ordered through Geoseed, and I couldn't find pictures of what they're supposed to look like anywhere online. But we're going to be kind of doing a celosia trial. Again, I'm going to try to find the space for the celosia. I'm also growing the Karoom, however you say it, celosia mix that you see here, which is kind of the crested brain looking flowers, which are so cool. They're just so neat. I couldn't resist growing them again and having buckets of brains. It'd be cool if I had a longer growing season. I could grow these for Halloween, put brains everywhere, but my season isn't that long, unfortunately. But lots of celosia to look forward to this year as well. And moving right along, I am doing something different this year. I am having a kind of Rudbeckia trial. It's not really a trial. I just wanted to grow a bunch of different types of Rudbeckia. If you remember last year, we grew the Sahara Rudbeckia. There's what that looks like, and it's very pretty. But we're going to grow even more types this year so we can have kind of a whole collection. I ordered the Chiminee Black-eyed Susan Rudbeckia. These are all Rudbeckia hirta or herta. I don't know how to say it. But these can be winter sowed about a month before the last frost date here where I am, and they will bloom in midsummer, and I just love these colors. One of the reasons I wanted Chiminee so bad is, again, it has those kind of narrow looking toothy petals that I just think are so stinking cool. Wouldn't it be cool if Sparky the sunflower and these bloomed at the same time and you could have kind of like a big arrangement of these? That would be super neat. Anyway, last year we grew Sahara, and I really like the colors of it, and you can see in the next kind of few varieties that I talk about that a lot of these colors are the same in the same kind of color family, which are all just these rustic kind of fall tones, like yellow and orange and burgundy. And overall, the colors are just so like warm and inviting, like, look at me, I am a flower arrangement. I know I'm weird, but the point is I just really like them. I also ordered Cherry Brandy. Cherry Brandy is very, very cool because unlike the other ones, it is more dark red. These are more of a single flower, but I imagine that dark red with that dark black center is really, really going to be kind of attractive to the eye and draw people in, which is very neat. Moving right along, we also have a mixed variety called Cherokee Sunset, and judging by the pictures, it looks like Cherokee Sunset is very, very much like the Sahara mix, except for the colors appear to be a little bit more vibrant and very, very double. So it would be really interesting to see if these Cherokee Sunset Rudbeckias grow true to form and double like they appear in the picture. It is an All-American Selections winner, so it's got to be good, right? Moving on, our next one is just called Caramel Mixed Rudbeckias, and I mean, caramel, sign me up. I'm here for anything that says caramel on it. So that kind of name kind of clues me in that the colors are going to be those kind of muted, kind of yellowish, reddish, brownish colors that I really, really loved in the Sahara mix. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not this is just kind of a more specific selection of the Sahara mix, or if it's its own thing. It'd just be interesting to see what that looks like. Next, we have the Prairie Sun. I've actually grown Prairie Sun in the past, but it was a long time ago, and I really, really liked them. I didn't take very many pictures of them for whatever reason. Prairie Sun is a very, very bright, vibrant yellow, and what's cool about Prairie Sun is unlike all these other ones that have a dark center, Prairie Sun actually has a green center with a green around the petals, which is very, very pretty. I am very excited to show you guys those. Last but certainly not least, we have Goldilocks Rudbeckia, and this Rudbeckia is very, very much like Prairie Sun in terms of color. However, rather than being a single flower, there are these big, bushy, fluffy, double yellow flowers, which are very, very pretty, or at least I assume they will be very, very pretty. Like I said, I haven't grown this variety before. That's really about all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for letting me show what I am going to be growing in the garden this year. I'm really excited for a new growing season. Leave your comment down below. What are you growing? What are you most excited for? Like I said, it helps the channel so incredibly much. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new and you like this video, be sure to subscribe. We'd absolutely love to have you. We're making new videos all the time. Most of them for now are about making cut flower arrangements, growing cut flowers. But in the future, you never really know what I might post. So if you like a little bit of surprise, you might like the channel. Be sure to hit the little bell icon. It'll give you notifications whenever we post something new. Share it with a friend. Tell them about it. We're just trying to grow our little gardening community here on YouTube. You can also check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Patreon. We would absolutely love to have you. Thank you so much for everyone who supports us on Patreon. It helps the channel and helps us keep these videos coming out. You are so appreciated. Links to the blog and all that are down in the description below. I hope that you are having such an incredible day, and I will talk to you all later. Bye, guys.